Hiyo, and welcome to Project Fest. Today, we are here with a bunch of our communities that are lined up today and able to allow us to give their lovely time in order to ask some for us to ask some questions and for them to answer exactly who they are, what they do, and I am so happy to have the honor to be able to do this, not just for them to get their names out there, but also for you guys. For those tuning in right now, either whether you're in the world, on the stream right now, or maybe even watching the VOD at this moment and everything, welcome, and I hope you maybe find a community that's just for you. Now, with that being said, let's give you a little rundown of all these different little groups I have here, or crews, as we like to call them. We have a lot of the PvP groups here. We have Daleks HQ. We have a lot of the 40K members, as well as the Star Wars PvP groups. We also have a lot of various RPs as well as some hangout groups and some other little social groups that you'll get to see right here, and maybe some educational ones. And we obviously have a few more that are coming in a little bit late, but we will make sure that we get to them and make sure you have the chance to see all the amazing people that have signed up here today to allow us to give them a small little quick interview. Now, if you guys have any questions, by all means, feel free to ask them in the chat. I will do my best to look through them when I'm at a certain community when you're asking, and I will try to bring it up with them. Obviously, if I can't get it to them on time, I apologize, but I'd love to see some of the questions that our communities and our guests here at Project Fest today has. So if you're not part of in the stream chat right now, I do recommend definitely coming in and maybe asking a couple questions. And with that, let's hear from everybody here really quick. I'm excited to have all of you guys come in and can't wait to see what all lovely answers you guys have. And with that being said, let's get a quick shout from all of you before we send you off to your booths. There we go. All right, now with that being said, let's get this party on the road. All right, so everyone, thank you all for coming in here and doing this intro really quick. Now, all of you, scatter to your booths. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get this interview underway. All right. Now, with that being said, obviously, me and Veeps are going to be going into a random direction to kind of get everyone as we can as we go along. So, Veeps, which direction you feeling? We going left or right, starting off? All right. The Veep says left, so let's get started on a clockwise direction, shall we? Looks like we're gonna hit our first one. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi. So this is one of our little bit of the other groups that we have. If you're waiting for your party, feel free to do that. But we're going to be starting the intros, so please go along, head to your booth, and have them go directly to that, and we'll get to you right there.
Yep.
All right. So with that, we're starting off with a little group here by the name of Omega, and this one I'm not actually personally too sure, but I see a couple of my friends here. So how about we have them get the honors of introducing themselves and exactly what do you guys do?
My arms are too short. Where'd it go?
Oh, did it
did the
disappear?
microphone
Uh-oh. That's fine. Go on ahead. I'll get a respawn for you.
Hello everyone, my name's Atrix and I'm here with a few of my community members and we represent Omega. So yeah, Omega is just a group that we have whereby we just do thematic events and we have pictures behind us over there basically showing what we do. So if you come over to our booth, we'll basically tell you depth on what these pictures and stuff like that. Some of you have already been here and already asked us on the so I'm ready for any questions that you guys have.
Now, what is it your group like fully specializes in? Like, obviously, I see a lot of photography in here. Is there anything else you guys do outside of that?
So as I mentioned earlier, we basically do thematic events. So what that means is that we get people to dress up according to theme, and we also plan out events according to theme. So for example, one of the events that we have here on the top, as you can see, the pink one up there, a Sakura event that we did during the spring of 2024, whereby we dressed up in how would I say, kind of traditional-ish Japanese clothes in the color scheme of pink. And what we did was we actually got food. Everyone got some snacks, and we all sat down together and had a virtual picnic under the sakura trees, and we played like a few games. So we do stuff like that and more other things for other events depending on the theme.
Now, what kind of platforms do you support on as your community? Do you support PC only? Is it Quest available? Like, what exactly kind of audience are you looking for?
So, events, because of the limitations of the worlds that are made in VRChat, majority of the time it is PC only, but we try our best to accommodate for our Quest members. So the event is Quest compatible. Usually I will get my members to make sure that the avatars they create for the theme is Quest compatible and optimized enough to for Quest members to join. But due to the limitation again, for the span of worlds, not many worlds are created for Quest as there are for PC. So most of the time our events are PC only, but when we do like our normal community nights like movies and games, they're all Quest compatible.
Alrighty. Well, you heard it yourself. If you're interested in maybe seeing some theatrics with these events and everything and like to join a very easily and accessible location to go and check these out and also maybe have some fun yourself, feel free to check out the Omega VRC. And with that being said, let us move up to our next one and see what we have in store for our next group. And actually, that was a little bit of our late joiners that you got a little taste of. So let's see exactly what they're about.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Greetings.
It's good
How are
to
you?
see you guys. Good morning, afternoon, whatever
Likewise.
time it is for everyone there. Same thing with those on the stream. So, how about you tell us a little bit about the Dream Tree Cafe?
Well, we are a social roleplay community that is set within a cafe that's built into a big old tree, set within a dream world so that anyone and anyone can come visit. Yeah, it's big open community. We welcome everyone in, ranging from people who are new who want to check out how the roleplay scene is, to those who have been around for a while. I like to think of this place as like the stepping stones. We've seen many people come up and join us, start their progress, and then go off and make their own, much bigger scenes, which I always love seeing. But yeah, just
Now,
big old social cafe.
so about the roleplay aspect that's involved with your cafe, is that like, is that specifically for your staff to roleplay and anyone's just allowed to come in, or is that like kind of involved with everybody that's in that scene?
It is kind of involved with everyone who kind of shows up. People come in as a character or themselves if they choose, but primarily it is open to everyone to roleplay. If you want to come in and just be you to enjoy the roleplay scene, that could very well be a character of yours. Perfectly fine.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
I guess the next available question I'd like to ask is, what kind of audience are you like trying to gear towards? Is it PC only, Quest? Maybe you're actively looking for more role players, actively looking for people that just want to come in and have a fun time?
We are trying to cater to everyone best you can, even with the quest. We do have an upcoming world that's being made for us. We will see about trying to get that quest compatible, but it's nothing I can really promise. If we could, even better. I'd be happy to, bring all the quest people involved as well. But if people want to like role play, sure, they can come in. If they just want to hang out and have fun, that as well. We're basically open to any and everyone who wants to give it a shot.
All right. And then I guess next thing, I guess final question I'll have for you is, outside of the role play stuff, is there any other kind of events that you guys hold?
It's something that we are thinking about doing. I want to host more just community days where everyone hangs out with each other. We've had those in the past where just a bunch of us who hang out in like the VCs and Discord and all that. But it's something I'm workshopping, trying to see, gauge the interest of the people already in the service. So it's to be expanded on.
All right. That sounds amazing. So yeah, that's all I'll have for this one. Obviously, one thing I do want to keep in mind, if you guys are live on chat right now, feel free to ask your own questions, and I'd love to get to them, to let these people answer that for you. But yeah, as far as the Dream Tree Cafe, if you're interested in a cafe place where you can come and chill and have some roleplay experience, maybe learn how to roleplay in a very easy environment, and who knows, maybe helps them build up to have other community events outside of the RP, like, I definitely do recommend checking them out. And obviously, you can find all their information not only on this VOD and live on Twitch right now, but you can also go and check out these booths yourself. And quite a lot of our communities do actually go and man those booths. So if you definitely want some information, it's a great opportunity to meet some of the members there and maybe get some more detail. Anyway, but with that, we'll move on to the next one. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Of course.
It means a lot
Thank
for
you
you
very
to show
much.
up today. All right, and with this, I get to go into one of the personal ones that actually I get to know, and have the privilege of being a small member from time to time. Let's head over to the Kochi no Yakuza.
I see.
And here I get the honors of
Oh.
introducing one of my personal favorite groups in terms of role play and everything. Let me introduce you to the Kochi no Yakuza, well, Yakuza.
Greetings.
So, I'm sure all of you really know a lot of the questions, but starting you off, who are you and exactly what do you do?
We are the Kocho no Yakuza, and we are a roleplay group revolving around the crime in Japan. Because it has a unique aspect to it. Something that you will never find anything like it in the world. Very unique with its mannerism, with its portrayal in the media and the games. We want to replicate that feeling. The feeling of being a thug in Japan.
Best way of wording that, huh, Ginger? But with that being said, actually, this next question is going to relate to an event you did. But let's talk about a little bit about the Kochino Boss Rush, which you guys did actually yesterday. You guys want to talk a little bit about what that consisted of, and also, I guess, a little bit of your own personal experience during that event?
If you'll be as kind, Yuki.
Maybe if I stop coughing for a second. So, the Kochana Bus Rush, it was already done last year too. This year, I do have to say it was a lot more successful, and we definitely feel proud about how the Kochana Bus Rush came to be. It's pretty much inspired by our own events where our own people, they usually just go and, we have a lot of fights. We are in the end an RP community where we do have a lot of combat. If it's melee with sharps like knives or bats, like for example Dryball is holding right now. Basically, it's a way how to experience how we literally do events. So what is happening on the boss rush is that we have our own boss that is made by our own people, and everything is directed in the background. A lot of NPCs, you could have a 1v1 fight with one of ours, and the boss, well, last year it was Astel from Elden Ring. This year what we did was an actual boss from the Yakuza games, to be exact, the Yakuza Like a Dragon. So if anyone ever played that, it was the big Roomba that was there, and everyone had fun, and everything went wonderfully, at least on our end. And from the feedback that we got, everything went really good. Everyone enjoyed it, and so we did So did we.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that you guys had such a successful event yesterday. I'd honestly wish I had the time to be able to go and show up myself. But outside of that, I guess the last question I have for you guys, obviously, what audience do you gear towards? And also, what events do you possibly hold outside of your normal RP events?
What kind of audience are we trying to give content to? It's basically the type of people who love roleplay and are not afraid to do a little fighting. People who know the value of respect and loyalty. People who value the Japanese culture and want to learn more about it. And people who just have nowhere else to go. What was the second part of the question? I have a memory like of a goldfish, like 3 seconds back.
The other question is, do you hold any other events outside of just the roleplay, and what would those be if you do?
We occasionally host these out of character or non roleplay events, which involves just community bonding. We dance together, we sing karaoke together. Really surprising, we sing karaoke with our Yakuza community. You would never guess. We play mini games together. Basically, pretty much the normal things that other communities do as well. Heavy reliance on dancing and heavy reliance on the karaoke. Occasionally, we do non-canon events, semi-character events. In the end, we are a roleplay community, so the main roster of our events will always be roleplay.
Well, there you go.
And
If
we
you're
do a lot
definitely
of golf.
interested in, yeah. And well, there you go. This is Coach no Yakuza. So if you're interested in a little bit of a change up of what you normally see from like fantasy role plays or cyberpunk related role plays, if you want to do something a little more crime related and something relating to Japanese culture, then I definitely do recommend checking them out. Obviously, their booth is right here with a lot of info about them, and definitely do recommend checking them out in the public instances because I know for a fact you guys do have a lot of people that actually do man your booth and give a lot more information. Cubs, actually back here, I know personally has been manning it a lot. So thank you so much for your
Every
hard work.
single day.
Oshikame-sama desu.
I'm
Gokuro.
pestering the people at
Gokuro-sama
the
desu.
LPD booth constantly about bribery.
Yes. Now with that, we're gonna head down and see what other communities we have in store for you guys today.
Join us.
You get body pillows.
Why do you have the body
For a morale boost.
This is definitely one of the kind of groups that you'll love to have. They are very much a fun time, and they really know how to have some fun moments in there, especially even during the role plays. But with that being said, let's come on and see what else we have. So, before we go ahead and head down to the back quadrant, I believe we have at least one community that's down this little alleyway. So let's go and see what exactly they're up to.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you too. So, obviously, if you, I don't know if you were tuned in, but at the time, but I am going to ask the first generic question that I've been asking every other community so far. Who exactly are you, and what is it you guys do?
So we are a relatively new VR chat role playing group called Toifa de Danan. It's an RP group set within a near future, alternate history, cyberpunk fantasy setting where in the 80s magic sort of like came back to the world. In the 90s, doing magic was outlawed after a big disaster. And now in the 2030s, there's a secret group of mages that work in a cafe, serving coffee to people, while also secretly doing magical things, such as getting magical artifacts, fighting dark magical beings, or even fighting back against evil cults and stuff. Or just delivering food. You can like in one of this guy's events where we delivered food or something, right?
Yeah, just food deliveries.
So, well, I guess the next question I'm a little intrigued on: what exactly spawned this whole idea of having a modern day magic cyberpunk kind of style, all mixed together?
Okay. Okay, three things. No, actually, four things. The first thing is that I was getting nostalgic and I was playing Infamous Second Son on my PlayStation, which had a bit of a similar premise where it's like people with superpowers were being like persecuted and imprisoned, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Then last year, after joining Kocho, I wanted to make my own community, despite the fact that I'd barely been in VR chat roleplay for less than a few months, and I was like, okay, there's no magic stuff in Europe. There's way too much cyberpunk in Europe, but the thing is, I want to do both. So I was like, okay, both. I just do both. And number three, I love magic. And I mean, I really, really love magic, as you can see right here.
Ooh. Got a little bit of a stand, it seems like.
Yeah, pretty much. That and also, I just really like Shadowrun. Like, I was playing Shadowrun Hong Kong, and it had a bit of a similar premise where magic suddenly came back to the world. Only instead of 2012, we pushed it to 1981 instead. You know, give it more time to develop and keep it close enough to modern day. Yeah, those are some inspirations. And Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk, especially.
Okay.
Honestly, the list goes on.
Yeah. No, I got you. So, I guess this is more of a personal question for you, but obviously I noticed on the poster that this is a PC only, so I don't think I have to ask as much of what platform you offer. But if you do want to answer this small little personal question, what kind of people would you love to see? Like, what kind of characters would you like to see them develop for your community?
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good question. Alrighty, so, alright, types of characters I really love seeing are, let's see, so, type of characters I really love to see are characters who, like, don't immediately feel like who don't see themselves as mega magical people. Because, like, when you create a character and you start out as a new character, you're kind of like a newbie to magic. You barely know what you're doing. So I really love seeing like types of character growth where the player characters are kind of forced to realize, wow, this world is a lot more magical than I thought it was. Because like, you know, they're kind of like taught to be mundane all their lives, but when you get magic, it's like, okay, there's people that can turn themselves into birds. There's people with buckshot roulette logic happening. There's weird magic necklaces that make people go ball mode from Baldur's Gate 3 type stuff. All sorts of stuff like that. And it's like, I really love seeing just a normal person forced into extreme situations. Think Huey from The Boys as an example. Or this guy's character for an example, who pretty much embodies the Huey from The Boys experience.
Wow.
Or just...
I'm definitely...
I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But definitely, that sounds very intriguing even to me. But yeah, no, I mean, if you're looking for another more unique kind of style of a role play, I mean, I definitely do recommend checking this out. This sounds interesting even to me. So yeah, no. With that being said, I think the only one last thing is there anything else you want to disclose about your community before we get going?
Yeah. So, as you're going to possibly see a lot tonight, a lot of VRChat roleplay groups tend to be American time zoned, which is, you know, great if you're American, but for the Europeans like us, bit inconvenient times. So, I just want to make sure to get this out of the way. Toefit Non is run by an Irish woman with a mostly European staff for Europeans. So, if you are looking for something that you don't have to sacrifice your sleep schedule for, yeah, Toefit Non is going to be great for you.
I hear that. Or if you're a little more dedicated of waking up early too, and you're when you're in America, I mean, this is also a very much fun one. I do that a lot with Coach no Yakuza with their events, and honestly, it is worth it. There's something so special about being able to go to events like these, especially more European geared ones, because they really know their stuff when it comes to RP. I can speak that from experience. But with that, oh, that was a big lag spike. But with that being said, let us go ahead and move on to the next one. Thank you all so much for giving us your time and being able to tell a little bit more about what your community is about.
Of course.
Let's move on ahead. Zombie.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you really have to dab?
So this little community has been around for quite some time, especially associated with us. They were here last year as well, I believe. And we've obviously a good chunk of the communities we did have are very much partnered with them, but don't take it from me. Let's hear it from them themselves. Who exactly are you and what is it you guys do?
Hi, thanks for having us around this year. So my name's Kuro, or OK Kuro, and this is the No Friends Friends Club. The No Friends Friends Club, we're a club about helping people socialize or get into socializing if you've ever felt like kind of awkward before, or maybe you have social anxiety, or for whatever reason, socializing is difficult for you. We aim to have a safe space for people to practice their social skills in a comfortable environment, as well as making friends and learning about socializing along the way.
All right. Well, I think the first question that actually pops in my head is what exactly got you the inspiration to form a group that's about helping out social skills?
Thanks for asking. So when I was growing up, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this, but when I was growing up in school, I always found it really difficult to interact with people for whatever that reason was. Sometimes I thought that I was like kind of strange or that I was that weird kid. And growing up, I kind of realized that nobody really teaches you how to interact with people. And when you are learning to interact with people, you're kind of just thrown into school or thrown into work or just thrown around a group of people. And you're never really taught how to interact with people or feel like it's safe to make mistakes in that social environment, because when you make that mistake, you're now that weird kid, right? So I thought of in high school, well, it'd be really cool to have a club in school where people could socialize comfortably and be able to interact with people in a way where they felt safe to make mistakes and it'd be okay to make those mistakes. And that's where the No Friend Friends Club idea came from.
So you've been doing this for a long time, it seems, and it's glad to hear that you're trying to do your best to help, especially people around this community. Now, I think the next question I definitely do want to say in response to that is how many people have actually been members of your club, and how many of them have actually felt a lot better with social skills after being part of the No Friends Friends Club?
So our club right now, currently as it stands, our group size is about 1,600 members. Our Discord has about 1,000 members, with about around 300 of them being active, and then about 60 regulars that come around practically every single time we have events. People who come to our club often find themselves wanting to be more social. In fact, there are times that we're trying to be quiet or trying to talk about things, and people don't stop talking because they're so interested in interacting with each other. And what that does is it allows people to feel comfortable with joining other communities. We have members of our communities who will come back to me and say, oh, Kuro, I built the confidence to go and join a military RP group or join the Helping Hands and start to learn more skills that they can apply to their real life as well.
That sounds absolutely amazing. I guess one final thing is what kind of platforms do you gear towards, and what kind of events do you offer at this club?
So we have a bunch of different kinds of things that we do here at the NFFC. NFFC is No Friends Friends Club for short. We have a games club, which is basically game nights. We will assemble a group of people and we go and explore all the games that are around on VR chat. As you know, there's plenty of them. We have a movie club, which basically they plan movie nights that happens every other week. And we have on our general meetings, which are basically the meetings where everyone from the club gets together and we learn about social skills. We'll do some activities that help better our social skills, or maybe we'll just go world hopping together and explore some maps on VR chat. Additionally, once a month, we have a special event at the end of the month, the very last Friday, which is it can be a scavenger hunt, it can be a a party where we'll do like for instance in July this Friday we're doing a summer bash. Not this Friday, but the last Friday we're doing a summer bash. Or we'll do things like talent shows. And those monthly events at the very end of the month are always that last made it through the month kind of feeling where you get to celebrate, having a good time with each other.
And what kind of platforms do you offer to be members of your club? Is it just PC only? Do you have Quest accessible stuff?
So all of our meetings are Quest accessible, as well as our main club meeting world, which you can search NFFC Club Room in the world's descriptions or the world search. You'll find our club room in there. You can see all of our information, as well if you visit our booth. Our booth's located right at the very entrance of the map here at PJKT. If you just walk in like 20 yards, you'll see our booth. We've been around here around 8 o'clock every single night in the main PJKT instance. So if you have any questions personally, if you guys are watching on the stream, you can come up and approach any one of us. We'll be housing the NFFC club group tag. And you can ask us questions if you're interested in joining us.
Well, there you go. You have plenty of ways to access it and definitely get some more information. So whether you check out their world or the booth here, or especially I recommend talking to some of the folks here and everything. If you definitely want a group that is very kind, very social, and definitely help you develop a lot of the skills that people don't really, as you placed, don't get to grow up learning, this is definitely a good group to try to ease you into stuff like that. So I definitely do recommend checking them out if you're definitely looking for those kind of skills.
Thank you so much.
With that
Thank
being
you for
said,
having us here.
Thank you for taking the time to come here today. It means a lot to be able to ask you some questions. So, with that, we have plenty of more people that we have to go and check out. So let's go and see exactly what else is left.
Do you have the necessary authority to be coming over to me in front of my presence? Actually, I don't really care. Come over here. Come over here. Come over. Come over here. I'm not that scary, I promise.
Well, if you want to have a little introduction exactly of what this group is like, this is another RP group, one that I've actually been really interested in joining myself, but obviously you don't want to hear me yap. Let's hear them actually talk about it. So, who are you and exactly what do you do?
Hello, we are Bluestar. We are basically a roleplay community focusing on a bit of the multiverse size, but more serious in a way. Basically, we are drafting through universes in our community as a security company, meaning we are visiting other universes to see wonders of the multiverse, or trying to help people that are in need, or just casually running around and having fun. Basically, we are a mix of horror, very chaotic fun roleplay, boss fights, as well as a lot of gacha systems that we like to implement.
Gambling.
So this one I kind of have a privilege of knowing a little bit prior, but how about I let you explain it to everybody? I know you guys take a lot of inspirations from different kinds of media and things like that. What exactly is the whole style behind Blue Star?
Basically, we are inspired by like the SCP Wiki, Lobotomy Corporation, Genshin Impact, or Blue Archive. Depends what you know better, you will probably guess in which direction this goes. But basically, our entire job is researching the multiverse, like I already said, or doing very chaotic things, or just normal security work that we do as a security company. In our world, basically no one knows of anomalies, like the little fellow back there that is one of our main enemies that is running around, that we're fighting regularly. So we try to integrate. So we try to integrate those anomalies when possible, or capture them to protect others in our world.
So I think the next question I have exactly is, obviously I know a little bit about this information, but exactly how open do you have in terms of character building and character like development within your roleplay?
Basically, we try to allow everyone. Our only restriction is that they have to be humanoid, as it's a bit of better making our standardization. But technically, you can be everything, from a little fumo like I have right here,
Don't
to
call me
like a
little.
normal human being, to also like very exotic creatures, so to say.
Now, I guess the last question that I can have, which is more of a generic one that I've been asking a few of them. What kind of platforms do you gear towards, and do you what kind of events do you hold outside of RP, if you have any?
At the moment, we're currently only focusing on PCVR due to the limitations of the Quest platform. But we of course try to entertain everyone outside those platforms as well by sometimes going around the public, selling goods, legal or illegal, that is what you ask the police, not us, but also offering services. Outside of that, we also of course do standard things like little game nights, movie nights, or anything that our members wish to.
It seems like you guys have a lot on your plate already as a community like this, but it all sounds fun, and I'm sure a lot of you find it interesting as much as I do and everything. So, if you're interested in finding something that's a little different, it's not a police department, it's not a military mil sim, but if you're looking into something a little more in between the two of those, which is security firm, I definitely do check it. Recommend checking it out, and especially if you want to have a character that is very flexible in what kind of universe it comes from.
If they're interested, we have our links here, as well as our little Fumo has our little link, discord.gg/.
Don't call me little. I'm insecure.
And obviously, yeah. And this is another group as well that you can definitely find in our group publics very often. They do have a lot of their members manning their booth and be able to give you more information. So I definitely do recommend checking the group publics and seeing if any of their members are there. Now, with that being said, let's go move on to one that I know a little more dearly myself, which is going to be our PvP quadrant. This is where a lot of our milsims and PvP groups are going to be. So if this is something that interests you, I definitely do recommend you pay attention for this segment. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for your time, and I can't wait to see more from you.
Of course.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Let's head off, shall we? So as you can see, as we're walking up here, this is one big segment filled with a lot of different communities and a lot of variety of IPs that are included in them. So let's go and see what exactly they have in store all in this area.
Hello, hello.
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 So, obviously, I myself am already familiar with what exactly this group is, but I don't want them to hear it from me. I want them to hear it from you guys. So, who exactly are you?
I'll start off. I'm Isaac Freeman, leader of the Dark Angels. We are a Warhammer PvP group here on VR Chats. As the name says, we do PvP events, combat events. We also do hangouts, social events, game nights, and various other events.
Yeah. So, I guess for the uninitiated, what exactly is all involved in a PvP roleplay instead of a standard roleplay?
So we're not exactly a roleplay. We use a system called Avatar PvP. There's actually proof over there. Essentially, how it works is that we have weapons on our avatars. For example, the sword right here. And there are particles that emit from the weapon. Like, say we have like a bolter, it would shoot rounds at a person, and it would actually do damage. There's no RP. There's no counting your hits. It's all just shoot and kill.
Yes. In this system, obviously, we'll go and fade. Yeah. And obviously, with this system, we'll go and actually give a little shout out to that booth in a moment. But yes, outside of the PvP aspect, though, obviously, you guys are built around the entire 40K. So, what exactly do you guys do? I know you guys fight amongst yourselves in a lot of those PvP battles, but how else is the other factions that we'll be interviewing in a moment actually get involved with you guys as well?
May I take over?
Go ahead, Blackout.
Hey, Blackout, part of the Grey Knights. Similar to Isaac or here with the Dark Angels, we are part of the PvP community. Usually we communicate with other event hosts from other factions and plan what days works for everybody to gather up and start a fight. Well, battle-wise.
Yeah. Now, obviously, with how heavy the system is, I can already answer myself that this is a PC platform, mostly when it comes to a lot of it. But I guess with that question kind of out of the way, though, that's the one thing I'd like to say. Is there anything else you guys offer community-wise outside of these little PvP battles?
Well,
In for this one?
yeah, I'll answer partially and I'll pass the mic to you. We basically do hangout events, world hopping events. We basically do attend other events from other groups. They're having like open doors. We do arrive there, be respectful as much as possible. Well, we do joke around and meme a lot. That's just who we are. Well, Grey Knight side. Beyond that, movie nights. Try to be social as best as possible for the rest of the community.
Yeah, and we're pretty much the same here in the Dark Angels. We also do game nights, which we'll host on our Discord. So it'll be Jackbox, TF2, SCP Secret Labs. I put out a little vote like the day of the game night, see where everyone wants to play. So we're more than just a community within VR chat. We're expanding outside.
Now, this will be one final question that I'm kind of gonna kind of ask, but I know a lot of these systems run similarly amongst all your communities. But I guess to kind of get more in depth of how you guys run it, obviously, I'm noticing a lot in chat of people talking about the avatars you guys run. How exactly does one get avatars like those and everything, and how does one be able to eventually get to customize them?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is.
Sure, yeah, I can answer this. Really, with our avatars, we have a lot of different types of fighting styles. So obviously, we got if you're more keen on sportsmanship, we have like assault marines. If you're more for like laying down heavy fire, we have devastators. We have vehicles, terminators, speeders. We have a lot of different styles when it comes to how to fight. Also, all of our avatars are within the 40K community hub. A little section. Go click on it. We're under the Loyalists and then Dark Angels. And pretty much you can kind of just see all the avatars we have there. If you want to just kind of try them out in a private world or give like a group of friends, go to one of the worlds and give it a try and what it feels like.
Alrighty, that sounds amazing. So, with that being said, if you guys are interested in learning more about this or maybe some of the other factions, please come by Projekt Community, check out some of their booths, and definitely go and see if some of these people are here, because they can definitely answer a lot more questions than I can today. So, with that being said, we're going to move on from one 40K faction to the next. Let us go check out the Ultramarines.
All right, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for your time. Thank you.
For the lion.
For the Emperor.
Greetings, people.
Hello. So,
Thanks, Bob.
obviously, we've already seen some of your brethren here with the other factions, but let's talk about the Ultramarines for a minute. What exactly is your faction, and what exactly are you guys? What exactly are they all about?
So basically, we are in raw term one of the 20 original legions. So what we're doing on the Ultramarine group, it's like other 40K communities. We're doing PvP events with other 40K communities or non-40K communities, like for example, United Republic or Daleks. We can also do community events. What I mean by this, it's some game nights on VR chat games, or visiting multiple worlds during events. Or we can also do game nights on another game that than VR chat.
Now, I guess obviously we can kind of already guess, like being one of the other members of the 40K factions, that you guys participate in the PvP battles, and you've already mentioned some of the other off events you guys do. I guess the only other question I can have for you guys is exactly, if people are interested in joining your community, what exactly can they look forward to other than the events?
Um, they can look forward to be part of a group. Everyone on the ultra group is friendly. The HRs are also friendly with the member of the group. So yeah, it could help you to make some how can I say, some encounter with people on VR chat.
All right. But with that being said, we're gonna head over to one of the other groups that we have here. But obviously, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we
You're
have a lot of
welcome.
40K related stuff. So maybe you'll find a faction here that you might be interested in joining, or maybe there's another IP that's participating here that you might be interested in. But with that being said, let's go and move on to the next group.
Thank you, and have a good one.
You have a good one as well.
Thank you.
So for moving on from some of the PvP factions over at the 40K, we're going on to something a little more traditional that some people may be familiar with, a Milsim group. But don't hear it from me. Who exactly are you, and what is it you do?
Oh, well, we are the Portuguese Armed Forces. We are a military roleplay group in Viachat. We are based on the Armed Forces of Portugal, mainly its Navy, and we do events in Viachat such as trainings, operations, even hangouts. Our group separates itself on two different types of roleplay, the high and the low. And each level of roleplay, it's in those types of events, in the trainings, on the hangouts, and people can rank up in our group and enjoy the group as much as they want by doing only high or low roleplay or both.
Now I did actually see an interesting question. I'm a little interested myself. What exactly inspired you to have it based on the Portuguese armed forces?
Oh, that's a very nice question. Well, I am Portuguese myself. I live in Portugal, and I've belonged in the past to other roleplay groups with the same, way that ours is made. And I always wanted to have one representing my country, and that's what inspired me on making my own group.
Hmm. Okay, and obviously you did mention some of the different events generically of what you think, but I'm a little interested in what exactly do you offer in terms of the training and the operations? What do they usually consist of?
Oh, well, the trainings, it's really about what specialty people choose. We have multiple types of specialties from Marines, which they are more of an infantry, to, for example, amphibious landing trainings. Again, for the Marines, we have pilot trainings, training specific to the aircraft and the vehicles and the equipment we use, and other things such as drill, basic trainings, and even basic naval terminology.
It definitely seems not only fun, but also educational, actually, with a lot of how that operates. Glad to hear that.
Exactly.
Now, I think the final question I'm gonna have is what platforms do you offer, and if there's anything else that you may offer to people that become part of your ranks.
Well, platforms, we are mainly in VR chat. We plan on bringing other games into the group, such as Arma 3. And what we can offer to people, as you said, it's more of an educational part. We have people in our group that belong to the real life military. Some people belong to fire departments, such as me, such as my second in command. We are real life firefighters. We can teach safety to people, a little bit of medical stuff, and also I forgot to mention them. Our platform is mainly PC VR in VR chat, of course.
Ah. Well, there you go. If you definitely want to have a Milsim that can actually teach you a lot of things, this is definitely one I recommend. And obviously, you get the extra bonus of seeing the little yippee bug that's on their counter right now. So if you definitely want more information, come by their booth and maybe hug this little guy. But with that being said, oh yes, he is.
Yes, our goal isn't
Yeah,
to infect.
I was about to, Thieves. But yeah, actually, we did offer him as a little bit of a sticker on PJKT's server for a limited time. So if you're a part of the server, feel free to kind of have some fun with this guy in chat.
I appreciate you guys for that.
It's not at all. I mean, I absolutely love him. I've been a fan of Lethal Company since it came out, so I love any chance to have the little UP bug around. But with that being said, we have a bunch of other communities we need to get through before today ends. So let's go on, move on, and see exactly what they have to offer. Thank you all so much
Bye-bye,
for your
guys.
time.
Thank you.
From different role plays that are filled with a bunch of guns, now we have one that's filled with a lot of magic and medieval weaponry. How about we hear exactly who you guys are and what you guys do?
Greetings. My name is Mr. Brunswick, and this is the booth for Fractured Thrones. It is a medieval flow fantasy roleplay based upon some of the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, and some of the more medieval fantasy aspects of early Warhammer before they were spacefaring. You've got your standard things and magics and mysteries you would find in those sorts of books and storylines, and we'd like to replicate those and build upon them with our own twists and original stories and lore.
I guess one of the big things that I will definitely love to get into a little bit is a bit of the technical side for you guys. Obviously, I've had the privilege before of being able to see the massive map that you guys use for your role plays. How about we go into a little detail of exactly all the stuff that goes on within this huge map and exactly what they can expect there?
Certainly. Oddly enough, Fractured Thrones doesn't use any systems. We don't use hit detection, we don't use anything to enforce combat. Everything that is done is based off of trust and training. All of our NPCs and players and staff are trained not only how to use the weapons that they portray and the armors they portray, but to make things as cinematic and enjoyable as possible. These larger maps are designed by our map makers to make things as immersive but interesting as possible. Daily, weekly updates by our hardworking map makers make things feel like they matter. If your players go and repair something, or something gets broken, stolen, or built, the map makers will show that, and it really gives someone a sense of accomplishment. Different locations are made and hidden amongst the countryside, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the main map we use is about 9 tiles by 9 tiles. So it's very in-depth. It's a large map, but it's maintained under a gig.
Wow.
A lot of work went into it to make sure that it was small enough that everybody would be able to handle it.
I imagine. I mean, especially with a team as dedicated of updating to lots of the current events going on and everything, I could imagine it could be a hard thing to balance optimization with. But honestly, you guys do amazing on that front. But also, I guess let's talk a little bit more about the roleplay itself. Other than just the fantasy aspect, what else do you guys offer, and how flexible is the character building and development in your roleplay?
Goodness. If anyone has access to the episode planning where all my DMs write down the possibilities of every single session, it would be somewhat ridiculous. You could probably write a book. We've had entire seasons change the direction they were in because of actions by NPCs and players. Everyone's actions have equal weights. Our DMs are focused enough and care enough that if you do something that we didn't expect and it changes the realistic aspect of ways things would go, we will rewrite the story moving forward. Everything shifts. It follows the paradigms that our players and NPCs set. We try to be as flexible as possible. It's a lot of work, but when you have passion for it and you do what you love, it's not work at all.
I can definitely agree with that notion, especially here at PJKT with how our staff is as well when it comes to dedication and passion when it comes to things like that. But
this place is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you so much. Our teams worked a lot on this year, so and thank you so much for showing the appreciation, and it means a lot to us. But enough about me for today, because this is about you guys. And then one final question I guess I'll leave is for you guys is what exactly platforms do you guys gear towards, and what exactly do you offer outside of the roleplay aspect?
We do everything in our power to make sure that things are as optimized as they can be. Unfortunately, it's very difficult, both with whatever it is people use material-wise, texture-wise, system-wise. Trying to get things to be optimal with Quest is very hard, at least for us over there. So, unfortunately, one downside is everything is PC, mainstream VR headsets only, unless you're able to get link cables for the lighter headsets. Outside of the roleplay, I had mentioned that we do training. The training's not just for FT, it's not just for Fractured Thrones. Sure, we do combat workshops, but we also do improv workshops. The point of it is to make everyone feel more comfortable so they can accept more roles. So they can have their time in the spotlight, so they can make memorable situations for themselves that they've fulfilled with their own acting that they can look back on and be proud of. We try to instruct people with our more veteran NPCs and players and staff to feel more comfortable with how they express themselves and how they involve themselves in scenes and whatnot.
Not to mention,
Well, there you
afterwards,
have it.
you have a big group of nerds that you're able to hang out with.
We're all friends.
Yeah.
Well, it's
We don't
always
kill each
amazing to
other on the
hear that a
daily.
community has that. But yes, with that being said, though, obviously, if you're looking for a more traditional fantasy-inspired, almost D&D inspired style of roleplay, and definitely want to learn how to develop a lot of skills that's required for role-playing, I definitely do recommend checking them out. And also, like, if you do, even if you're not going, even if it's not something that fully interests you, I do recommend checking out the map they have. It is very massive and very immersive. But with that being said, thank you all for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Projekt Fest.
We are all grateful to Projekt Fest
Thank
for
you.
letting us come here and all the effort they put into their events. Thank you very much.
All right. But with that being said, we are actually going to be heading back to the little bit of the PvP side, and we're going to be moving on to our next group, which is a different IP from the 40Ks. So let's go see exactly what they're holding.
Let's go spray paint the Portuguese. Come on.
Hello.
Now, obviously, I unfortunately was not born in the UK, but I am a very big fan of this show myself. I grew up with it. But if you're not familiar with the IP already, just based on the avatars and what's on the design here, how about we have them introduce themselves and exactly what they are?
We are the Dalek HQ. Apologies, I'm not using my voice changes today. Just make sure you can very, very clearly understand what I'm trying to say. We are a community who specialize in roleplay, PvP, and story events, and particularly story events. We like to show off our stuff, be as cinematic as possible, and just try and tie things into the show of Doctor Who while taking things on our own direction as well. We specialize in avatar creation, as you can see by some of our finest avatars in front of you. And yeah, at the moment we are currently celebrating our 4th anniversary, 4 strong years, and our community is currently celebrating that by bringing back an old tradition of doing competitions and competing where there will be actual prizes.
Ah, well, first of all, happy anniversary to the Dalek HQ. And from there, I think a little bit of something I'm curious about. What made you guys decide to have the idea of bringing Daleks into not only just as a roleplay aspect, but as a PvP aspect?
Well, it started as just roleplay. So, we all just loved Doctor Who, and we just thought, it would be quite fun. So we went for real with it. We found avatars that existed and thought, this guy right here, where is he, Jonas? He started making us avatars, and we just grew from there. And it turns out that as he was making avatars, he was really, really good at making PvP systems as well. And one thing led to another. We fought several communities, and now we're widely accepted in the PvP community as well. So that's how it kind of happened, and then we just started incorporating it into our stories and everything like that. So we don't really say that we're a completely PvP group, but it's definitely how it came to be. But we just started it during the pandemic, and we thought, we're kind of bored. This sucks. Let's just do something fun and express our love for Daleks. And because obviously there are a lot of communities in here, we thought our niche would bring a lot of attention, and it sure has. For the past 4 years, we've been going strong.
All right. I think one final question. Obviously, much like the other platforms, I know you guys are unfortunately only geared to PC VR. But I think one thing I would like to ask outside of that, though, is what other events do you maybe offer outside of all the roleplay stuff?
Oh, one thing I will say is, before I get to that question, we are actually doing quests now. It's just a slow process and slow burner. So we do actually have quest avatars now. We have been using them in some of the project community stuff. We are slowly switching to not just quest, but we're going to slowly start to do quest events and things like that. It's a slow burner. We've got a lot to do, but we've got a new guy in our avatar making who's slowly learning things, and then we're going to ask him to start doing a lot of the quest avatars, and then it's going to be called Cool and Gucci. But as for your question, can you just repeat it for me, please, just so that I know exactly what I'm answering?
Outside of all the roleplay events, what exactly do you guys offer? Any other events outside of those?
Okay, so when we first started Dalek HQ in 2020, one of the biggest things and one of our biggest accomplishments we ever did was we managed to get Nicholas Briggs, the voice of the Daleks, celebrity, to come to VR chat, and we did an interview with them. We live streamed it. It was a paid
Ooh.
event because obviously that cost a lot of money for Ran, our leader, who could not be here today. Unfortunately, he's on holiday. Yeah, so we've done that, and we do try to expand our YouTube by doing stuff like our promotional videos, cinematic scenes to add to our lore events and just spice things up. We do plan to expand all of that, and we have big things coming up. In fact, recently on our YouTube, I did a video advertising our I am and the other media guy Tron. We did a video advertising our anniversary, and gave people teasers to what's to come for our group, such as new ranks, new models, and new world, and new stories. And we just kind of like, we're kind of like a whole thing of it all comes together in one kind of fruit basket kind of a thing. With apples, because as everybody knows,
you heard it
apples
here,
keep their way
folks.
to the
If you're
doctor.
Well, you heard it here. If you're definitely a fan of any of that stuff related, either Doctor Who or even just PvP related, definitely go and check these guys out. And also, like, maybe you'll find a couple of people that share the same passion as you do for a show that's been going on for several years. But moving on from that, actually, we do need to backtrack a little because unfortunately I did accidentally miss one. I know, I apologize. There's a lot of communities here today. I feel so terrible when I realized that. But let's go quickly run back a little bit, and we're going to get one group that actually is ran by a dear friend of mine. So let's go and grab them really quick.
Onwards.
Yeah. And what the? No. Oh my god.
Uh-oh. Apparently we have a little bit of a jump scare that happened before we showed up. Sorry about the long delay there, Z. I unfortunately have a lot of communities to keep track of, so I didn't accidentally space you.
Oh no,
but
it's fine.
no, you're completely fine. But I'm glad I was able to catch you and remember. But with that being said, how about you tell us a little bit about the group that you're offering here at PJKT today?
Yes, my name is E2. I am the gang leader of the Little Renegades. We are a street gang that takes inspiration from the 90s and early 2000s gang culture. We also take very good inspiration from the Saints Row series and the Def Jam series.
So, what exactly inspired you to have a more gang type roleplay?
One night I was playing Def Jam 5 in New York on my PS2 emulator. And I was just playing around with characters, having a good time like you usually do on Def Jam. And I had a random idea. So I was thinking, I'm like, okay, there's these police groups and there's these mafia groups. Is there a street gang group that I can join? So I went on a month-long research and journey to look for anyone that has this kind of group that's still active or around. Sadly, I couldn't really find many results. I was a little bit disappointed, but I went up to my good friend Credo, shout out to him for being my second-hand man, and we decided to make our own. And we took inspiration from Def Jam's Saints Row, the timeline of classic modern, since I don't really see much of that as well. So, and we decided to get everything prepared very slowly, get the Discord prepared in the background while the avatars are being made. And once all that was released, we decided to open up the group, and here we are at our second Project Community Festival.
Ah. Well, I guess the other question I have for you then is what exactly kind of community events can people expect if they join the Little Renegades?
Our main event is warming and recruiting events where we roam around random worlds to hopefully get new members and interact with other people in the VR chat space and other communities. We are very open to other communities interacting with us during those events, and as well as our open lobbies if anyone wants to join those. It's just an open lobby of one of our worlds that we have right now that's currently still in development but is doable. It's our warehouse district. And we just host open lobby there for a few hours, have a good time, hang out. If there's enough members, I send them off on missions and some fun stuff. We also do street racing and driving nights and driving worlds and such. And we also host monthly parties where we do try to invite other communities to come and have a nice nightly party and get to know each other. Um, our newest event is a Discord gathering event where we watch wrestling nights. We literally just had that last night, trying to do a test one where we showed off Forbidden Door from AEW.
Now, what exactly VR platforms are allowed to join said events and community as of this current time?
Oh no, everybody's always welcome to sign up, no matter who you are and where you're from. You're always welcome to sign up for the gang. For open libraries anyone can join. And if they want to learn anything about the group and the gang, you can always come to me or come to my second-hand man Credo. If you want to learn about any kind of rule sets, any kind of avatar stuff, I will give it to you as true as possible. Even though most of the time I have to reference the actual Discord rules because I forget.
Well, with that being said, I mean, if you're interested in joining a type of roleplay that's all about games and something that is not very often seen in a space like this, I definitely do recommend checking out Z2's Little Renegades. It's definitely a fun group that you can have a lot of fun and freedom to when it comes to role playing. So, with that, thank you for your time. I apologize profusely again for missing you earlier.
No,
But
I
I'm
was
glad I was able
expecting
to
a
help out.
U-turn. I was saying, he's going to come back around, make a U-turn, and come back to his booths.
Yeah,
what I was
yeah,
like,
no,
he's
it's
gonna come
fine.
back around.
Oh, thank you for your patience, and I apologize again for missing you on the first try.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
But
we're not hard to
yeah,
miss. We're
but
in the
as you mentioned,
wall.
we did take a but as we mentioned, we did take a sudden U-turn. So let's head back to those other communities that I have yet to interview because we still have quite a few of them. So thank you so much for your time, Z, and I hope to see you again soon.
Okay.
All right, let's move on, shall we?
Not yet, no. That. What do you think?
Okay, so before we actually do fully head back, I guess I'll take this time since it's right here. I do want to take a little shout out because we did mention this earlier. We mentioned the Avatar PvP system, and this is the booth of the creator himself. Go Fluff Yourself. I know, amazing name. But he was the one that entirely, with him and a couple of friends, were able to build an entire system that allows the PvP system to work. All it simply does, to give you a small rundown, is it is a system that works with particles where you place them on your gun, and then that in turn works with any worlds with this system implemented to where it acts as either hit regs, healing, whatever you need it to that particle to work and everything. All you got to do is set up his prefab, and it will all function inside of those worlds. And 90% of the worlds that has the Avatar PvP system are completely public and for you to join, and is also free to add to your avatars, no matter what. So you can have any avatar be able to come in and work at a PvP world. So if that's something that even interests you, and not just like, for the many communities that are a part of it, if you're also interested in checking that out, I highly do recommend you look into those systems and maybe see if you just want to apply it and get some friends together to have some PvP battles of your own. Now, outside of little PvP, we'll be returning to those shortly. I do have a group actually right next door that I'd like to get to know a little better. So let's go and see what they're up to. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Projekt Fest, as
Hello.
always.
Hi.
But yeah, how about you tell us a little bit about yourselves and exactly who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Start, and I'm representing. We're all representing the Galactic Republic of VRChat. Contrary to a lot of the groups over here, we are a hangout group focused solely on Star Wars. So we just have weekly hangout events on Saturdays, where we just get in Star Wars: The Clone Wars avatars, and we just fuck around and have fun. It's really cool. It's a great experience for us. And then, when we're not doing that, we have game nights and stuff going on, and movie nights and all that. So like right now, I think actually in our community, someone's hosting a Lethal Company game night, just for reference, like that kind of stuff. We have fun. Yeah.
So what was the whole idea of turning like an IP that's usually used for roleplay or PvP fights and making it into a little hangout group?
I can get it. I can get that. Hey, Blue here. So we wanted to make ourselves diverge a bit from the typical RP communities and a lot of milsim kind of units to Star Wars community and other units around here that I've been doing. And we wanted to kind of take away from that and just focus on having fun with each other and celebrating, Star Wars, because that's something we all enjoy in this community. It just kind of sucks that every now and then there's some things that happen, and but we want to take the stress away from that and just focus on what we all love most, which is just clones, Star Wars, and blasters and stuff like that. All that kind of stuff.
So I guess moving on from that little bit of a question, I guess outside of that, let me see, what's a good question I can ask? I'm actually a little bit stumped here because there's a lot I could ask, but unfortunately we don't have the time. I guess the best thing I could ask is exactly, obviously you guys are mostly hangout, but what do you guys do inside of VRChat mostly for your events?
I think I can take that one. So we do a couple other things. Right now, like I think recently we've had a couple of different worlds that we go to, whether we have some that are private events where we just hang out. There's one event that recently that we just kind of went to a world with 100 cars in it, and we had like 35 people in it, and we all were just like running around in a bunch of cars, and it was just it was a lot of chaos and a lot of cars like flying through the air and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. We did a big group picture. It was a lot of fun. So with the different activities that we're doing,
it'd definitely be quite the sight to see a clone trooper driving a like standardized car instead of a speeder.
It was a lot. I actually have like I have some firefighter avatar clones, and we had like 3 of them. We were inside of a like a fire engine. We were driving it around with the firefighter clones inside. It was a lot of fun. But the different stuff that we're doing, I think we have we have a YouTube that's going right now, Galactic Republic of VRC. It's on YouTube right now. We have been recording like all of our events with the different stuff that we've been going on, and it's been really high quality. I'm pretty proud of what we've been doing, so that's been going pretty well for us as well. If you guys want to check it out.
All right. Cool. And what exactly platforms do you guys offer to have join in your events?
So we actually are PC only. Yeah. Actually,
yeah,
you go
you
ahead,
got
DJ.
it.
You need your
go-
time in the spotlight. Go ahead.
We
Give us
no,
time.
no, you already said it. We are PC only. Because we've always been a PC only community back when we did combat, and this group's not very used to making stuff cross platform, so it'll be a little bit difficult for people to adjust. So
Okay, that's understandable. I guess one final question that I actually have that I spot in chat for a second before I fully send you guys off. Somebody did ask in the chat, do you guys have sabers?
Hey, right here. Oh yeah. Blue has one on his model.
Right here.
Yep.
So, like, to
Well, there
answer
you
that
have it.
question more in depth, we can put lightsabers on our models, and like I have a version of my model with a lightsaber. And you can put whatever you want on your models. We're really open to stuff like that. So all we ask is, you just keep it within a certain performance limit. So if you could put a lightsaber on your model that you can pull out, and you still meet the performance limit of our events, that's all we ask. Go have fun with it,
Well, there you go. If you want to just have a small hangout group outside of the traditional combat role plays that is the clones and everything, I definitely do recommend checking out Galactic Republic. Now, with that being said, let's go into a more of that traditional matter and head right into the next group that we actually unfortunately had to cut off short really quickly to go and run back to the Little Renegades. Let's head to the United Republic.
I think that went rather well.
Act normal.
What is normal?
I think that's
don't
that's
know.
asking a lot from this group. I'm gonna be honest.
How dare you call us normal?
Joking aside, though, this is a group that is also I have a lot of dear friends in, but don't hear from me. Who exactly are you, and what do you guys do?
Alright.
So
Well, we're the. Oh,
Off to a great start.
Okay, so we are the United Republic. We are a multi-purpose group. We mostly do avatar PvP. Now you can speak. Oh, he's died. Basically, you're back. You speak now. I can't think of anything.
Alright. Basically, we're a bunch of idiots. We like murder. We like Star Wars. We like doing RP. Pretty much, if it exists, we do it. Bunch of shitloads, and somehow the oldest Star Wars Avatar PvP community around here. How? I have no
Yeah.
idea. We're just being idiots.
Nearly 4 years now. Yay.
Yeah. Well, what made you guys decide to actually try to introduce a Star Wars style PvP IP into that kind of community?
So, simply put, back in the day, I got dragged into Avatar PvP by Go Fluff Yourself, the man, the myth, the legend. And back then I was running an older Star Wars group that was World PvP, and then I just thought, I've never seen this, it would be kind of cool. And then it just went from there. A lot of waves, a lot of iterations, more serious, more less, and then we just came up, yeah, Milsims are stupid, no offense, and go stupid, go home.
So I think the next question, since you are PvP oriented, what exactly kind of avatars do you offer to members that become part of your ranks?
So our avatars are pretty much, our whole combat is based after the classic and the newer Battlefront games. So we have weapons from pistols, rifles, grenades, different type of tools, shock weapons, including even vehicles. We have tanks, we have fighters, carriers, everything. Pretty much bunch of models. I think it's at the moment like about 400-ish models available to
Around
use.
there. Yeah, I
All,
think
of
about
course, PvP compatible and ready to murder.
So, are there any sort of community events you guys offer outside of just the PvP battles?
Yes.
Outside events, we do kind of, well, we do community hangouts, we do pug hangouts, game nights, which we do pretty often. And now with the new iteration, we do RP, kind of planning on working, doing some operations, recreating some of the battles from the movies and the series. But mostly it's just us as a staff team. We just sit there around the table, all right, what would be fun and fucking funny? That's usually how things get done. The dumber the idea, the more likely it's going to be made.
Well,
yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. But yeah, if you're looking into having an IP outside of, the traditional 40K that's all about PvP battles and things like that, definitely do recommend the United Republic if you're looking for something a little more.
One more thing, may I say, for those who are interested in joining, do know that if you care about the lore and seriousness, this ain't your place. You're going
Well, there
to lose
you
all
have
of
it.
your brain cells if you even have any. Okay.
Well, there you have it. If you're interested in just finding a fun group that's really into PvP and is Star Wars oriented instead of something like the 40K or the Daleks, then by all means, I definitely do recommend checking them out. Their booth is right here, and this is another one that I'm noticed is very populated. So you'll definitely have probably a good chance of catching somebody manning the booth if you want more information. Now, with that being said, I think I just have a couple more left for today. But obviously, this isn't the only time we're doing this event. There will also be another one planned on the 7th. And as I encouraged, since we're hitting the last few, if you haven't already, if any questions pop up while during the interview, feel free to ask them, and I'll do my best to catch them while discussing it with them. But let's move on and see what else we have in store.